Welcome, football fans, ladies, gentlemen, and every single one of you jabronis who doubted the New England Patriots when I told you Drake Maye is the MVP. Mike Vrabel is going to reignite the Patriot winning culture. Josh McDaniels was going to prove he's one of the best damn offensive coordinators of all time. And this Patriots roster is going to rise in 2025. So every one of you jabronis who doubted the magic of Mitch, if you don't Gronk spike the like button, you're fooling yourself. Leave your hater comments in the comment section below. Leave your hate in the comments. I want to hear it all, baby. The Pats are back. And unfortunately for you, they're going nowhere. They're going nowhere. It's time for your NFL Week 10 reaction, recap, and analysis. Everything I saw today, November the 9th, 2025 for Week 10. And we cover as many games as we possibly can. I want to begin with the biggest upset of the day. The game that eliminated me from Survivor. The Miami Dolphins defeated the Buffalo Bills in Miami 30-13. Not only is this the game that eliminated me from Survivor, but it's also the game that makes the Bills 6-3, which means they're 2 wins back of the number 1 AFC East team, the New England Patriots, who also beat their candy asses in Buffalo, okay? And if you guys were with me live when we were talking halftime Patriots, we danced the night away with the Miami Dolphins theme song. So if you guys weren't there, we're going to do it again, baby. We're going to do it again. Miami 30, Buffalo 13. And in honor of Tua, turned the ball over, and the nerd himself, Mike McDaniel, everybody get their dancing shoes on. Get their feet ready. Get their hands ready. Everybody, get ready. Get out of your seats, baby. It's time to dance.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl, 'cause we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1. Yes, we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1.
They're the best!
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl, 'cause we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1. Yes, we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1. Everybody! gonna be me.
The Dolphins win 30-13. Tua, 15 for 21, 173, 2 touchdowns. He did float 2 interceptions as he typically turns the ball over. But, hey, I got to give Tua his credit. But Devon Achane starred with 2 touchdowns to end it and finish off the Buffalo Bills. 22 carries, 174 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But if I'm being real, the Bills showed their flaws. The Bills showed why we've doubted them all season long. And even after beating the snot out of the Kansas City Chiefs, those little brats, the Kansas City Chiefs, thank you, Buffalo, for that. But today, you turned the ball over multiple times. You gave the ball away. You lost this game. You deserve to lose. The Buffalo Bills did actually run 12 more plays than the Dolphins. They had 6 more yards than the Dolphins. But they had 3 turnovers to Miami's 2. And where those turnovers took place, both 2 in the red zone and 3 in Miami's territory. Okay? 2 fumbles, one by Josh Allen on an incredible quarterback sneak where he buried his way through defenders, and it looked like he was going to get 20 yards on a 4th and 1, which is insane. And then he was stripped of the ball by Minkah Fitzpatrick. Or maybe he recovered it. But either way, stripped of the football. And then James Cook, who rarely fumbled the ball in the red zone against the Dolphins. And so the Bills cost themselves. They had a chance to come back in this game. They had chance after chance after chance to make this interesting, but they couldn't make it interesting. You know why, Brandon Beane? You know why, Mr. GM Beane? Smarter than everybody? Yeah, jabroni. Spelled jabroni, Mr. Beane. You don't have a receiver, okay? These receivers suck. On the other side, you got Jalen Waddle, who you could have traded for, going 5 catches, 84 yards, and a touchdown. You don't have a receiver. Keon Coleman can barely run past Claire's grandma. I mean, come on. Dalton Kincaid pulls a hammy every second game of the week. Khalil Shakir can't run a route past 5 yards. Joe Brady's got his head so far up his ass, he's trying to find a screen pass up there somewhere. James Cook played like ass. He was clearly injured. Josh Allen made like 3 insane throws. There was a throw on 4th down where he like ran around in circles and then threw a dart like 40 yards down the field. There was another one where he did a spinorama, ran to the line of scrimmage, ran all the way around the entire defensive line, came across the field, and threw the ball for a long gain. And these are the plays Josh Allen is making simply to get a completion against one of the worst defenses in football. This is what Josh Allen is having to do to move the ball through the air on a vertical pass against the Miami flippin' Dolphins after they traded Jalen Phillips and they don't have Rasul Douglas. This is what the Bills have to do because their receivers are slower than Leanne. They stink. They can't catch, bro. They can't get open. And then you got the Bills defense who can't bail out the Bills offense. If the Bills offense turns it over more than one time in a game, they lose. That's the story. Every single time the Bills make a mistake on offense or don't play their A game on offense, they lose. They lose. If they don't possess the ball perfectly, if they take one too many penalties, if they fumble the ball one too many times, sure. Right? Like, a lot of teams lose in that scenario. But my point being, a lot of good teams can overcome these. But every single time Buffalo turns it over or takes one too many penalties or can't really get it going on offense, they lose. every time this year because their defense can't bail them out. I got to give the Dolphins credit. And I don't understand this, man. Like, why do people think that everybody, and this is why we have the bottom line view, right? We're not consensus opinion, right? This is my opinion, okay? Are we all idiots? Like, why do people think that the Dolphins should not trade? Why do people think that the Dolphins should fire Mike McDaniel? Sure, he wears capris. I get it. All right, he wears glasses. I understand. Maybe he should get a little consulting on his wardrobe. Like, look at me, bro. I'm wearing the cutoff PATS with the white tee underneath, bro. I'll give you some consulting, McDaniel. Not everyone can look as cool as me, though, every Sunday. I've been wearing the same thing every Sunday because the Patriots can't lose when I wear it, bro. So let's just throw it out there. But, McDaniel, I'll give you some hints. I'll give you some tips, bro. But Mike McDaniel is a great coach. Like, for this team to win 30-13 with who they have on their roster, that's really impressive. That's really impressive. Is it not? The Dolphins are not a very talented team. Their quarterback is booty cheek. Their quarterback literally didn't do shit in this game. He threw one nice pass to Jalen Waddle. Congratulations. And they beat the piss out of the Bills. Like, I just feel like maybe the Dolphins should keep Mike McDaniel, get rid of Tua Tagovailoa, maybe restock the shelves with a new general manager and go from there. But I'll be very happy when the Dolphins decide to fire Mike McDaniel because that means he's gone from the AFC East. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Okay? But the overall theme is that Josh Allen can't play like Superman every game. The overall theme is that the Bills think in the year 2025, they can win consistently without good receivers. That's the theme. And a mid-defense. Let's get to the next game. I don't even want to talk about it, but the New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns played each other today. The Jets won 27-20, not that anyone cares. Would you guys like me to go through Justin Fields' statistics? Probably none of you watched this game. If you did watch this game, guys, please get on the phone. First, go on Google, look up the hotline. Okay? Get on the phone. Get on the phone. Because you got gambling issues. You got issues. I don't know if it's gambling. I don't know what it is. You're addicted to something, bro. You're addicted to something. If you watch this game for even a minute and you were not paid to watch this game, please seek help. Professional help. The Jets beat the Browns 27-20. Now, Justin Fields' stats in a game in which his team scored 27 points. Let's get some water before I announce this. This is pretty big. Okay. Justin Fields, 6 completions on 11 attempts for 54 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. He was sacked 3 times, and he had a QBR of 15.9. Now, these are not fake stats. 6 for 11, 54 yards, a touchdown, an interception, and they scored 27 points. Now, you're probably wondering, by the way, 42 of his 54 yards were on a 42-yard screen to Breece Hall. So Justin Fields in this game against the Browns threw for 12 yards. And the Jets won the game. You're probably wondering, how did the Jets win this game? Yeah, I'm wondering too. Now, it's because they had a punt return for a touchdown, and they had a kick return for a touchdown. And that's how they won the game. That's how they won the game. The Browns, meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel was sacked 6 times. He did throw 2 touchdowns, but he was sacked 6 times. He didn't throw an interception. Judkins had 75 yards, no touchdowns. Gabriel ran for 54 yards. Jerry Jeudy had 78 yards and a touchdown. David Njoku had a touchdown. Fannin had 4 receptions for 44 yards. Justin Fields threw for 12 yards when you don't account for a 42-yard screen. The Jets had 12 first downs. One of them was passing. One. Okay? They had 169 yards. And there was 17 penalties in the game. Will McDonald had 4 sacks on Dillon Gabriel, who the Jets almost traded. Now, if I have to give any credit here to the Jets, it's that they played good defense, kind of, against the worst offense in the league. Not really. I mean, they did concede 20 points to the worst offense in the league. And the Browns hadn't scored 20 points in any game this season. So I'm not sure they even played good defense. But they did have 4 sacks from one player who they almost traded, but they didn't. But I just wanted to bring that game up because the Browns, they lost a game where a quarterback literally had 12 yards. I don't know how that's possible. I don't know. But that's the Jets and the Browns, okay? Now, in a game that I thought would feature 12 passing yards, the Texans and the Jags played today. The Texans are now 4-5, and the Jags are now 5-4 after the Texans come back through the will and determination of the great Davis Mills. 36-29 Texans win. 36-29 the Texans get it done. This was a wacky, wild football game. Jacksonville had 213 yards, and the Texans had 412. Yet the Texans nearly lost this game, and the only way that they won is because they had 26 points in the fourth quarter. Not 25, not 24. The Houston Texans, who doubled the Jags in yards, had to score 26 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Jags. Now, why, you ask? Well, again, kind of like the Jets and the Browns. The first drive for the Texans, Davis Mills throws a pick, which then leads to a Jacksonville field goal. But what happened was the Jags kicked a field goal. Then the Texans took an unnecessary roughness on the field goal, which allowed the Jags to have another chance at scoring a touchdown, but they still couldn't score on the Texans' defense, so they had to kick a field goal again. Then after that, there was a 0-play, 0-yard drive from the Texans where they fumbled the ball. That gave the Jags the ball in the red zone, which early in the game, the Jags were spotted 10 points for free. So the game was 10-0, right like that. And then, after that, the Jags were up 17-0 in this game and 20-3 in this game. Yep. 17-0 and 20-3. You might wonder, how did they score the last touchdown? It was a punt return by Parker Washington. So, the Jags were spotted 17 points in the first half of the game. 17 points. They were beating Davis Mills 17-0. And they lost. They were up on Davis Mills 17-0. Okay? And honestly, Davis Mills played pretty well in this game. He went 27 for 45, 292, 2 touchdowns. He threw a really bad interception early, but he kept on chucking it. And what I do have to say about Davis Mills is he found Nico Collins and he just kept throwing him the ball. Not a bad idea. 7 catches, 136 yards for Nico Collins on 15 targets. Very Joe Flacco, Jamar Chase-like. He also likes Dalton Schultz, 7 for 53 and a touchdown on 11 targets. Woody Marks had a good game, 14 carries, 63 yards, and a touchdown, leading the way for the backfield. Woody Marks had 14 carries. Nick Chubb only had 5. Now, the Texans' defense, Danielle Hunter is ageless, 3.5 sacks and 4 tackles for loss with 4 quarterback hits. Will Anderson also had a sack, and the Texans had 5 sacks on the prince that was promised, Trevor Lawrence. The Prince had 13 completions for 158 yards, was sacked 5 times, and had a passer rating of 74. He also was picked off with one hand by Derek Stingley on a crossing route. Travis Etienne had a pretty good game. Jacoby Myers caught 3 for 41 for the Jags in his debut, in which he led the team with 41 receiving yards. So Jacksonville really didn't do anything on offense. They were just given the ball in Texan territory like 4 times. And the Texans actually shredded the Jags. Like, they truly did deserve to win this game. And the Texans closed it out in epic fashion with a fat man touchdown to make the lead go from 1 to 7 to end the game. On the last play of the game, they got a fat man touchdown at the very end. I think it might have been Sheldon Rankins. I'm not 100% sure. I think it was Sheldon Rankins. Let me check. Oh, it was Will. Yeah, Sheldon Rankins. Will Anderson caused the fumble. It was recovered by Sheldon Rankins for a touchdown. Also, Davis Mills had to get the lead with 5 minutes left. They drove down the length of the field, and Davis Mills got a touchdown. He ran for a touchdown, a 14-yard touchdown. Davis Mills. So, hey, good on the Texans, man. I thought Mills played really well. He was mostly accurate, decisive, made a couple plays with his legs, and they were balanced on offense. And it continuously, what I've been saying about the Texans, I think the last 3 games since they played Seattle, their offense has actually been a lot better. And their offensive line has actually been a lot better. Mills was only sacked twice in this game as well. So some promising signs for the Texans, who are a team that I feel like no one really wants to play. They probably won't make the playoffs. They're 4-5, right? There's a chance, but I feel like no one wants to play the Texans just because their defense is so good, and I feel like they're a pain in the ass. So a big win for Houston there in a comeback, 36-29 in a wild, wacky football game. Let's go back to earlier in the day where the Indianapolis Colts defeated the Atlanta Falcons in Berlin, 31-25. The Colts 8-2, the Falcons 3-6. Now, this was a game in which I kind of thought that the Colts should have been up at half in dominant fashion, and that wasn't the case. It was actually 14-13 Atlanta. The Colts in the first half, they failed a 4th down. They missed an extra point, and I believe they missed a field goal as well, if I'm not mistaken. So the Colts had some things go wrong early for them in this game. but they were moving the ball in the first half. But then as the game went on, I kind of felt like the Falcons should have won the game. And this is the reason I think they lost. Michael Penix had 12 completions for 28 attempts, 16 incompletions. And a lot of the incompletions were on him. Like, just bad accuracy, like poor accuracy, bad ball placement. Guys are open, and Michael Penix just can't hit them more often than not. Like, that's really what it felt like to me with Michael Penix. Like, I don't think Raheem Morris is a very good coach, but I am not close to sold on Michael Penix. Like, not a very accurate passer. Took 3 sacks in the game. Couldn't really move the ball when they needed him to. Drake London is incredible. Another 100-yard game with a touchdown, 6 catches. Bijan had an okay game, 84 yards, 4.9 per attempt. Algier took for 57 and 2 touchdowns. Stoll vultured the touchdowns. Atlanta's defense, I actually thought played really well against the Colts, considering the Colts have a very good offense. Like, Daniel Jones was sacked 7 times. The Colts won this game, and Daniel Jones was sacked 7 times. Not 5, not 6, 7 times. And the Falcons lost. How often does a team lose when they get 7 sacks from their defense? Daniel Jones threw an interception. But at the end of the day, Jonathan Taylor, the Offensive Player of the Year, had 244 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, one of them was a crazy run into the offensive line, bounce around, find the left sideline, run down the sideline, touchdown. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Tyler Warren made some key catches on that last drive. 8 catches, 99 yards. Alec Pierce had a deep touchdown from Daniel Jones, 37-yarder. He had 4 for 84. But Taylor was unbelievable, as expected in this game. And the Colts, Sauce Gardner debuted in this game. I thought he wasn't bad. He was okay. He did get routed up badly by Drake London on a 2-point conversion. But other than that, I thought he played solid. The Colts didn't really impress me in this game. They didn't impress me from a pass protection standpoint. They didn't impress me from a defensive standpoint. I kind of felt like their defense got by because Penix was just bad. Like, to me, it was just like Penix was just not very good in this game. So this was not a great game from the Colts, but they found a way to win. So I'll give them that. But I don't know, man. Like, the one thing I'll ask about the Colts is the question that everyone keeps asking about the Patriots. Who have they beat? And to me, like, the team you might point to is the Broncos. And that team, to me, is also overrated. But they only won that game because of a field goal penalty. The Broncos should have won that game. Right? Like, they lost to the Rams. They lost to the Steelers. All the teams with winning records they've lost to. And the last couple weeks, their offensive line hasn't performed as well. They won this game by 6 in overtime, and their running back had 244 yards. So to me, I just wasn't really super impressed by the Colts today. Daniel Jones was solid. I didn't think he was great. I thought he was okay. He did have 53 yards rushing. He did have 255 yards passing, and he overall was very efficient, but a lot of sacks. A lot of sacks. The Falcons blow another game. Every time I watch them, I'm like, this team is really talented, but the quarterback and the head coach are the weakness of the team. And it's kind of the story of what I was talking about all offseason. It continues to be the story. Okay, moving on to the next game. The Chicago Bears, the New York Giants. Another game that was blown by the Giants. So the Giants, I think the stat is they've lost 4 or 5 games this year when leading by 10 or more. And they're 0-4 in those scenarios. So they have yet to win a game where they're leading by 10 or more, I think. So that's pretty crazy. So they're 2-8. The Giants looked like they were going to win this game. They were up by 10 with 5 minutes left. They were up by 10 twice in this game. Not once, twice in this game. So the Giants blew this game. Jackson Dart he actually was really good when he was in. 19 for 29, 242, a 91 passer rating. And it felt like every single play that was made by the Giants in this game was a run by Jackson Dart. 6 carries, 66 yards, 11 yards per carry for Jackson Dart, and 2 touchdowns. And Darius Slayton made some incredible catches in this game. There was 2 that are notable along the sidelines. Theo Johnson had 7 for 75. Wan'Dale Robinson had 6 for 62. Tyrone Tracy ran it well, 71 yards. If I had to point to one thing Chicago did well defensively, it was their blitzes occasionally got home. They had a couple key sacks. They had 4 sacks in this game overall, and some of the calls by Dennis Allen were very timely. That was the only time they really stopped the Giants, was like in these pure passing situations where they were able to get to the quarterback. Caleb Williams, probably one of his best throws of the game was incomplete. I think it was a 4th down and 4, and Caleb scrambled to his right and tried to find DJ Moore in the end zone, and it was just out of bounds. That was one of the best throws I saw from him. Otherwise, he made a very gutsy run, and he actually was very good as a runner in this game. He had a very gutsy, I think it was a 3rd down conversion. It might have even been 4th down, but I'm pretty sure it was 3rd down. Caleb had 8 carries for 63 yards, including a touchdown late in the game. The Bears ran the ball well with Monangai and Swift. Swift had 80 yards, 6.2 per carry. Monangai had 28, 4 yards per carry, and a touchdown. Caleb Williams, though, again, up and down in terms of passing. He had 16 incompletions. He had an 83 passer rating. He didn't throw a pick. He did throw 1 touchdown, which was wide open to give them the lead at the end of the game to Rome Odunze. I don't know how you get that wide open, but it's the Giants defense, so who knows. So it was a pretty pedestrian day for Caleb. There was a little snow flurries. It wasn't the best weather, but I thought Caleb and Dart both showcased their athleticism in the game. I thought Daboll actually called a really good game for Jackson Dart. But man, you can't keep giving up these leads like time after time after time after time. You've had like 4 chances here and you keep giving up these leads. Now, this one's a little bit different because they had to put in Russell Wilson. And we've watched Russell Wilson play. Now, here's the thing I'll say about the Giants. Why in the blue fuck is Russell Wilson still out there instead of Jameis Winston? Like, why is Jameis Winston not your backup? We've seen Russell Wilson this year. He's so bad. Like, he's unplayable. How do you put Russell Wilson in the game? It should be Jameis Winston who is your backup. They need to make that adjustment. And if Jackson Dart is out next week with a concussion against the Packers, it can't be Russell Wilson. The Giants don't want Russell Wilson playing. Like, give them a spark, give them some energy, put Jameis in there. Like, I don't understand why you lost this game because you turned it over to Russell Wilson. But to me, like, the Giants' great pass rush gets 0 sacks. One of the most underrated thing I think about the Bears is how good their offensive line is. The Bears' offensive line is elite. Like, I don't watch many offensive lines where I'm like, this offensive line, like, never gives up pressure. Like, I feel like Caleb has all day to throw, like, a lot. And they're also really good in the run game. Like, Ben Johnson, the additions they've made, who would have thought Joe Thuney is really, really good at football? Not me. But, like, the Bears' offensive line is awesome. I think that is really the main ingredient of this team and why they're so good, along with Ben Johnson's scheme. But, like, yeah, I mean, the Bears win a game against another shitty team. They're probably the most fraudulent 6-3 team I can remember in a long time. Their defense isn't very good. The Giants don't have any real weapons, and, like, the Giants did whatever they wanted. They threw the ball well. This was Dart's, like, best passing game of his career, possibly from a statistical perspective. Tyrone Tracy had 5 yards a carry. Dart had 11 yards a carry. Like, the Bears defense, even in bad weather, didn't really show up outside of a couple sacks. And yeah, the Bears offense is pretty good, but against a good defense, I feel like they're kind of fraudulent. So to me, yeah, the Bears escape. They win this game. But honestly, if Jackson Dart finishes this game, they win. The Giants had 70 plays on offense. The Giants had 431 yards. Like, if the Giants have their quarterback in the fourth quarter, they win this game. But of course, he's concussed. So the Bears just get another break here. They win by 4 points at home. What have we not talked about yet? The Saints beat the Panthers 17-7. I didn't really see any of that game. There were some big plays by the Saints. There were some big plays by the Saints defense and special teams. They blocked a field goal, and I do recall a fumble by the Panthers and an interception from Bryce Young. And here's the thing with the Panthers. I said it on my, I believe I said it on my power rankings video, right? The Panthers are all run game. Like, Bryce Young doesn't even throw for 200 yards when they win. He threw for 124 yards today. Like, that's not sustainable in the year 2025. You can't keep winning games when Bryce Young throws for 180 yards. Like, you can't do it, right? And eventually you were going to run up against a team that slowed down Rico Dowdle, and that's exactly what happened. The Saints stuffed Rico Dowdle. He had 2.9 yards per carry. He did have a touchdown, but the Panthers can't do anything on offense. McMillan did have 60 yards, but like, their offense, they have no passing game. The Panthers have a pathetic passing game. They might have the same level of passing game as the Browns. Like, that's how bad it is, to be honest. And on top of that, right, the Panthers defensively, they did really not, like, they were solid, but Tyler Shuck played really well. 19 for 27, 282, 2 touchdowns, had a deep ball to Chris Olave. I was a kind of a fan of Shuck in the draft. He was my QB2 behind Cam Ward in this class. And maybe it should have been Jackson Dart. We'll see, but Shuck played good here. I mean, 8 incompletions, offensive line missing 3 starters, no Rashid Shaheed anymore. Like, that's a pretty impressive performance. The Panthers have a pretty good defense, 128 passer rating. So, yeah, Tyler Shuck looked pretty good. Juwan Johnson made some plays too, 4 for 92. But yeah, I kind of said going into this game, I kind of regret not taking the Saints and like actually betting the Saints. Like, I had the under for you guys as a bet. I also took the Saints in my picks with the 5.5. I regret not betting it myself. This was kind of a pretty good matchup for the Saints because the Saints can stop the run. They've got a good defensive line. The Panthers have no passing game, and the Panthers can be had in the secondary. And I think the Saints just caught the Panthers here. And like I've been saying, the Panthers they were 5-4. They didn't feel like a 5-4 team. 1 week they beat the Packers. 1 week they get killed by the Falcons. 1 week they get killed by the Patriots. 1 week they get killed, by the Bills, or they kill the Falcons. They get killed by the Bills. Like, they're just not a good team. Like, yeah, they've got a decent record, but they're kind of like the Bears. I think the Bears are a little bit more talented. But yeah, that's all I really got to say about that. Tyler Shuck, I'll have to dive more into that performance, but from what I saw, he played pretty well. Next up, what do we have to say? The Ravens and the Vikings. The Ravens and the Vikings, 27-19 Ravens. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure to Gronk spike the like button. It really helps out this video. It helps other NFL fans find this content, find my channel, and don't forget to subscribe. 27-19 Baltimore. Both teams are now 4-5. The Ravens grab a huge victory, and this is a huge home loss for the Vikings, who are now 1-3 at home. One of the best home fields in football. 1-3 at home. They lose by 8. The Ravens were kind of in control of this game. Now, the Vikings did take an early lead in the game, but it never really felt like the Vikings had control of the game. It felt like the Ravens kind of had control the entire time. They had 5 more first downs. They were better on third down, 6 for 15 compared to 3 for 14. The Vikings did finish with more yards, but the Ravens had more plays. And then turnovers, the Vikings had 3 turnovers. And 2 really bad interceptions from J.J. McCarthy. Like, just 2 basically arm punts that looked atrocious. J.J. had more incompletions than completions. This was a weird game because the Vikings actually let J.J. McCarthy participate, and it was not a good look, right? 42 attempts, 20 completions, 248 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. a 54 passer rating. They protected him pretty well. He only had a sack, right? And then the run game was kind of not relevant. JJ led the team in rushing with 48 yards. Aaron Jones ran it well when he got a chance, but he didn't really get a chance. And against a team that can't really stop the run, the Vikings really didn't have any sense of running the ball. Like, Mason had 4 carries for 25 yards. That's 6.3 per carry. Aaron Jones had 9 for 47, 5.2 per carry, but they didn't really try to run the ball. So it's a little odd. It's not like the game was completely out of reach. I think they leaned a little bit too much into their rookie quarterback and kind of got away from what was giving them success last week. But Jalen Naylor had a good game, 5 for 124 and a touchdown. Jefferson had a really rough game. He had like one of the worst games I've ever seen him play. 4 catches, 37 yards, and on 12 targets. So 8 incompletions in Jefferson's direction. And then for the Ravens, I felt like they kind of struggled on offense for a good portion of this game, especially in the red zone. And I felt like Brian Flores kind of held his own here with his defense. Like, Lamar only had 176 yards. He only had 1 passing touchdown. He only had an 87 rating. He had 12 incompletions. Like, Lamar didn't have a great game here. Derrick Henry didn't have a great game here. 75 yards, 3.8 per carry. Keaton Mitchell looked really good. They kind of need to give him more. I hate to say it about the King. I hate to say it about, Derrick Henry. But Keaton Mitchell, every time he gets the ball, he's getting 8 yards. Like, 7.8 a carry in this game. He should probably get a little bit closer to a split with Derrick Henry. I'm just saying. He looks really fast every time he gets the ball. Zay Flowers had 4 for 75. But honestly, like, it's not like the Vikings defense played poorly. They only had 1 sack. It's hard to sack Lamar sometimes. But yeah, like, it's not like the Ravens did anything crazy. This is one of the best offenses in the league. But the Vikings had 13 penalties for 102 yards, and they turned it over 3 times. The Ravens turned it over 0 times. The Vikings went 2 for 5 on 4th down, and the Ravens kind of allowed the Vikings to stay in the game because they weren't good in the red zone. Like, the Ravens were 2 for 5 in the red zone, which is pretty rare. So I need to go back and watch that thing in full, but it felt like the Ravens kind of had control because their defense, their pass defense, looked a lot closer to the unit that we've seen last year, that we've seen over the years. Kyle Hamilton, Wiggins, Chidobe Awuzie making plays, Marlon Humphrey. Felt like their pass defense really made a lot of plays. And the Vikings just didn't really run the ball for some weird reason. So 27-19 Ravens. In the afternoon action, I don't need to talk too much about the Lions, but it's nice to see that they got back on track and covered the 8, 44-22. The Commanders, we know they suck. Like, their defense is absolutely terrible. It's tragic. Marcus Mariota wasn't bad in this game. 16 for 22, 213, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a 133.3 passer rating. He actually was one of the better parts of the Commanders team today. But the Lions did what they needed to do. They stopped the run, and the Commanders have no receivers. Like, without Terry McLaurin, Debo scored a touchdown, but he had 29 yards. Like, Treylon Burks led the team in receiving. They have no competent receivers. Treylon Burks. Zach Ertz had 4 for 54. I'm faster than Zach Ertz. Like, Jakrosky Merritt, 2.7 yards per carry. That's kind of the story of the game. Rodriguez, 2.7 per carry. That's the story for the Lions defensively. They made a couple key sacks early in the game on 3rd down to get off the field. Brian Branch was chasing Marcus Mariota around. Like, they blitzed a couple times. It got home. But, like, the Lions offense just purely dominated the game. And Dan Campbell was calling plays. That was a pretty big thing to note. Dan Campbell, it looked pretty good. I mean, 30 first downs is outrageous. 546 yards. Like, that's the Lions offense that you would expect. The Washington defense is so bad. I mean, we saw it against Seattle. We've seen it against Dallas. They are atrocious. Like, truly atrocious. You can run the ball on them. They were taking stupid penalties. their older, veteran, experienced players were doing dumb shit. Like, it was really bad. Like, the Commanders looked out of sorts. It was really, really bad, man. And despite converting 3 4th downs, they still, like, were totally blown out in this game. The Lions, 2 for 2 on 4th down, 5 for 10 on 3rd down. Like, 8 yards a play is ridiculous. Jahmyr Gibbs, also, like, that's a big thing that I should have mentioned off the top, is like, hey, who would have thought you give the ball to your best playmaker and he makes plays? Like, duh. You know, like, only 15 carries, though. Like, even in this game, like, Jahmyr Gibbs, 15 carries. David Montgomery, 15 carries. Why? I don't fucking know. Why is Jahmyr Gibbs not getting 20 carries and Montgomery getting 10? Like, Jahmyr Gibbs, 9.5 yards a carry, including a 43-yard touchdown, 2 touchdowns. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs only getting 15 carries is still egregious. He had 3 touchdowns in this game. He did catch a touchdown. Their first touchdown was an angle route out of the backfield. We've seen him score that touchdown a lot. But, like, why is he not getting the ball? Like, every time David Montgomery gets the ball, it literally makes me, like, pull my hair out of my head. Like, I really don't understand. Jameson Williams also had a big game. So, we talked about this on BLV versus Consensus on Patreon, the Patreon podcast. You got to get your explosive playmakers the ball, man. Like, Gibbs, 142 yards, and Jameson Williams, 119 yards. Like, sure, I love Amon-Ra. He's a great player. But, like, you almost use him too much. Like, he's a slot receiver with not a lot of speed. Like, it felt like the offense in recent weeks for the Lions had been too Amon-Ra and Laporta centric and not Gibbs and Williams centric. Like, I just feel like when the offense has more Gibbs and more Williams, they score more points. Like, it's really not that complicated to me. Like, that's just how it feels to me because they're just so much more explosive. So much more explosive. Jared Goff had a good game. I mean, I expected this. 25 for 33, 323 touchdowns. Really good game statistically. But, like, he was never even close to being touched. The Washington Commanders have no pass rush. They have the worst edge position in the league. Like, the Commanders are terrible. So, yeah, the Commanders are a mess. A team that went to the NFC Championship. The Lions get their revenge. Good on them. They look better. That's good. You know, Sunday Night Football is about to get underway, but we're going to continue to cook here on this recap. Guys, don't forget to Gronk spike the like button if you haven't already. Seattle beat the Cardinals by the same score of 44-22. Seattle beat the Cardinals 44-22. The Lions beat the Commanders 44-22. Caleb says Dan Campbell calling plays was a major difference. I for sure saw the same thing. Yeah, I saw a little bit more creativity. I felt like a little bit more of like a rhythm, like a cadence to the play calling, like setting up some things. I definitely saw more of that for sure. But the Seahawks win this game 44-22. I don't think this game was as lopsided as the Lions game. Essentially what happened here was that the Seahawks got 2 defensive touchdowns in the first quarter. That's what happened. So the Seahawks had 2 strip sacks for touchdowns really early in the game, and the Cardinals were chasing the game the entire time. That's kind of what happened. Like Sam Darnold actually only had 178 yards, and that's only because he threw it 12 times. Obviously 14.8 yards per completion is pretty damn good, but he also turned it over. I think he fumbled, if I'm not mistaken, and he also threw a pick. He might have, I'm pretty sure he fumbled too. But yeah, it felt like he would hit some big plays, but then also turn it over a couple times. Charbonnet had a nice game. Walker had a solid game. Charbonnet got the touchdown, of course. George Holani got a touchdown. I remember him mostly from the preseason. He's their 3rd running back. But the Cardinals, I just felt like the game was a lot more competitive than the score. It's just that Seattle's defense came out gangbusters. And they just came out and strip sack Jacoby multiple times. And when you get behind that early, it was like 21-0, 28-0 or something like that. 28-7. That's really hard to come back from. And the Cardinals didn't execute on a couple of their opportunities in the red zone. They had a couple fourth downs where they were kind of trying to come back and they just couldn't. I mean, it's just kind of like a game script thing. But yeah, 3 for 6 in the red zone. That felt about right. 3 for 6 in the red zone. The stats were actually pretty even. Like the Seahawks had 372 yards. The Cardinals had 335. The Cardinals ran a lot more plays, obviously. The Cardinals had almost the same amount of first downs. It's just that you get 2 touchdowns, 35-0. Yeah, Big Al, 35-0. The Seahawks had a really good opening drive offensively. JSN scored a touchdown. First drive of the game, 65-yard touchdown drive. And then a fumble for a touchdown. And then the Seahawks go down and they score another touchdown. So it's like the game's over right there. It's 21-0. And then 21 turns to 28 because there was another strip sack fumble. So yeah, Seahawks looked really awesome in the first half. Dominant, thoroughly dominant. The Cardinals kind of crept back in the game. Seattle kind of made a couple of mistakes to allow them to kind of creep back in the game. And Seattle just ran the ball well in the second half and kind of iced the game. There's really not a lot to talk about here other than Seattle finally wins at home impressively, 44-22. The Cardinals have been looking like a pretty good team. This is the first game where the Cardinals actually lost by margin. The Cardinals have been losing by 1, 2, 4, 3, 4. And the Seahawks beat them by 22. That's a really impressive win in the division. But it mostly came down to Seattle's defense is really freaking good. Seattle's pass rush is really vicious. And they can turn a game really fast into a home run and really fast into a blowout. And that's exactly what happened. I actually thought Jacoby, once again, played solid. Again, despite those fumbles. I thought he still looked solid in the game. And I thought Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride. Marvin Harrison was targeted a lot. Seattle did a good job of holding him without a lot of big plays. And Trey McBride was once again a beast. Had 127 yards, 9 catches, and a touchdown. JSN, once again, 93 yards and a touchdown. Not too much. Just the touchdowns by the defense. And then we've got the 49ers and the Rams, and we're going to finish with the Patriots, okay? So Gronk, spike the like button if you haven't. We got 2 games remaining. The Niners and the Rams is an example of a game script that just went the wrong way for the 49ers. And the Rams just being the much more talented team. Just physically, especially on offense, manhandling the 49er defense. And the 49ers have so many injuries at this point. They just don't have a defensive line. Their defensive line just got indented. They just got pushed off the ball, manhandled, physically overwhelmed. Stafford had all day to throw. They ran the ball at will. And essentially what happened was, actually, guys, this is a weird game because the Niners never really were stopped in this game. I know that's kind of weird to say that, but it felt like they kind of moved the ball up and down the field, the entire game. The only time that the Rams stopped them was on 4th down. That was it. The Niners were stopped on 4th down twice. They were 1 for 3 on 4th down. Other than that, really what happened in the game was the Rams got the early lead, manhandled the Niner defense, and the Niners just never made a stop. That's basically because the Niners defense is just their defensive line, they just don't have anything. And Stafford and the Rams offense just executed at will. 31 first downs, 400 yards, 67 plays ran, time of possession, 35 minutes. Mac Jones, I think, had maybe his best game of the year. Actually. Mac Jones was maybe even better than he was in the first Rams game. He was 33 for 39 for 319 yards and 3 touchdowns. He threw a pick on 4th down. which was, tough, whatever. But like, Mac Jones was actually really, really good in this game. He made plays out of the pocket. He was extremely accurate. He might have been the most accurate quarterback I watched all week. Actually, legitimately. The Niners, their run game was okay. It wasn't actually that bad. But to me, a couple takeaways. So Stafford is absolutely playing out of his skull. 4 touchdowns. The Rams' run game is really good. Their success rate is really, really high. They push you off the ball. They were just spamming 3 tight end formations all game. Devontae Adams looks really good. Puka Nacua, we know, is really good. The Rams defense, though, I don't know if this is just a Niners thing, but like, their defense is kind of really overrated. I know that they're ranked near the top of the league, but the Niners, like I said, they never really got stopped. Like the Rams, if they do lose, they should be the favorite in the NFC right now. They should be maybe the favorite for the Super Bowl. If they do lose, I think it's because you can block their pass rush and you can just throw underneath passes the entire game. Like that's what the Niners have done in both games, and it's been very successful. So just an example of the Rams have way more talent than the injured 49ers, and that's basically what happened. They got an early lead, and the Niners just could never get the necessary stop to get in the game. And it was 42-26. To finish this off, as Sunday Night Football gets underway and the Steelers begin with the ball against the Chargers, a big AFC game, we're going to finish it off with our New England Patriots taking it 28-23 over the Bucs. Okay? The Patriots go into Tampa and win. They're now 8-2 with the best record in the NFL, the best record in the AFC, tied with the Indianapolis Colts, and they're 5-0 on the road, including wins in Buffalo and in Tampa Bay. The Bucs are 6-3, and they're now 2-2 at home. Their losses to the Patriots and the Eagles. Okay? The Patriots, this is where they won the game. The Patriots won the game in the middle 8. Period. They were down 10-7. They gave up the typical early touchdown on the opening possession, as they have almost every game of this season. And almost in every game of this season, my chat loses control and says they suck. And then I basically tell them we have given up an early lead and a touchdown early to some of the worst teams in the league. Cleveland, Carolina, Tennessee, literally all those teams scored a touchdown on the first possession against the Patriots. So that happens, right? The Patriots then win the game. I think they win the game in the middle 8. And the middle 8 is right before half and right after half. The Patriots get the ball with about 4:30, somewhere in there, before the second half. And they're down 10-7. Okay? Yeah, 10-7. They get the ball. They drive down. It's 4th and goal for Drake Maye and the Patriots at the 1. And what was really important in that sequence was the Patriots running the ball on the first 3 downs in order to run the clock all the way down until 2 seconds to call a timeout. So the Patriots wanted to score on 3rd down. They probably wanted to score on 2nd down. But it almost looked like they took an intentional QB sneak for no gain on 1st down to kill 40 seconds to not allow Baker to get the ball. But on 4th and goal, they throw a corner route in the back of the end zone to Stephon Diggs, who Tony toe tap in the back of the end zone. Beautiful catch. That is a huge touchdown before the half. The Patriots go up 14-10 before the half. Then, right after the half, they get the double score. Patriots get the ball to open the half. They go down the field and they score. Then it's 21-10. And at that point, Patriots are in full control, and they didn't look great on offense for the rest of the game, really. They weren't great on offense for the rest of the game. They had a lull in the 3rd, early 4th quarter where they didn't really score. But that sequence right there, that 14-point sequence where the Bucs did not touch the ball, is what won the Patriots the game. Now, impressive part for the Patriots, Travion Henderson, 2 home run touchdowns, 14 carries, 147 yards, 2 touchdowns, both home run touchdowns. One to close out the game where he looks to the sidelines and checks with the coach if he should score. And the first touchdown was electric. Mac Hollins had a great game. 6 catches for 106 yards. Coming up clutch with Kayshon Boutte being out on 10 targets. Kyle Williams scored the first touchdown on a home run play action. Crossing route, 72 yards to the house from Drake Maye. Diggs played a really good game. 5 catches, 46 yards, and a touchdown. Had some nice third down conversions. Patriots, explosive on the ground, barely did anything outside of those 2 runs by Travion Henderson on the ground. Drake Maye was not his best completion percentage, but I thought he made a number of nice plays. 270 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw a bad interception in the fourth quarter. If he doesn't throw that interception, the Patriots probably would have kicked the field goal at the 2-yard line, and they would have taken, or the 3-yard line maybe, and they would have taken an 8-point lead late in the game. But the defense stood up, and I felt like the defense played really well. I thought the defense, stopped the run again for the most part. Sean Tucker, the first running back to go over 50 yards against the Patriots. 53 yards, okay, whatever. But they stopped the run. Rachaad White had 3.8 yards per carry, 38 yards, okay. Emeka Egbuka had a really good opening drive, but outside of that, he was kind of quiet until garbage time. Cade Otton caught a lot of underneath passes for 82 yards on 9 catches and 12 targets. Baker is tough. The Bucs are tough. They put up their yards. They got a lot of garbage yards, but 273 yards, 3 touchdowns. Couple key critical sacks. Calebon Chason came through. Milton Williams and the boys came through later on. Who got Elijah Ponder got a sack officially. But I thought when the Patriots needed to get stops in this game, unlike the Falcons game, they did get those stops. That's big. That's big. On top of that, I felt like whenever they played more aggressively and played more man coverage, it felt like it worked for them. Again, it was another game where the defense settled the game down. So after we went down 7-0, the Patriots got a quick 3-and-out from the Buccaneers. So the Patriots, responded. We got a quick 3-and-out. So the defense responds whenever the Bucs were doing anything or offenses do anything. So I think this is a very good complementary defense the Patriots have. It's not a dominant defense. I wouldn't call it an elite defense, but it's a very good complementary defense. And even with guys going down throughout the game, like Barmore, right, they still stepped up and they made those necessary plays. I thought Gonzalez had a strong game. I thought that Milton Williams had some really strong pressures and moments. Chason once again. Marte Mapu had a good game when he was out there. Jack Gibbons played a bigger role in this game for the Patriots. Anyone else deserve a shout out? I mean, Drake Maye is just doing his thing. MVP chance, he's the man right now. He's the guy on top. He's making big throws down the field. I thought, you know what also won the Patriots the game to close this out? And if you haven't, Gronk spiked the like button. Gronk spiked the like button. What probably won the Patriots the game beyond the middle 8 was how they protected against the blitz. The Bucs actually were kind of scared to blitz. They didn't blitz as much as I thought, but when they did, the Patriots mostly made them pay, and the offensive line played really well in the pass game. I was a little afraid with our back situation and the offensive line, the young offensive line. But against Todd Bowles, I thought we did really well. Only 1 sack. Drake also did his thing escaping a few times, but hey, that's got to happen sometimes. The offensive line, along with clutch defense and good clock management, won the Patriots this game on the road, 28-23. Game of the week for the Patriots, and a big, big win, kind of securing their contender statement for the season. Now, a lot of people have been doubting the Patriots, but they make a statement here on the road by beating the Bucs in Tampa. So, New England, 8-2. Happy about it. If you guys enjoyed this recap, Gronk spiked the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know your takeaways from the week 10, in the comments section below. It's Mitch. We'll see you later. Enjoy the rest of Sunday Night Football if you're here with me live. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you for the super chat. Shout out to Grycicle. You're the man. And we'll be back, of course, tomorrow on Monday with more NFL coverage. Peace.